Jonestown Massacre remains one of the most harrowing human tragedies of the 20th century, marked by an unimaginable loss of life, underpinned by a grim tapestry of manipulation, charisma, and desperation. In November 1978, over 900 people died in a remote settlement in Guyana. Most had ingested a cyanide-laced drink at the behest of their leader, Jim Jones. This event stands as a chilling reminder of the devastating power of a charismatic leader and the profound vulnerability of those ensnared by such a figure. Jim Jones founded the People's Temple in the mid-1950s in Indiana. He portrayed himself as a messianic figure, merging ideals of socialism with an ostensibly Christian doctrine. Jones preached about creating a utopia free of racial segregation, social injustice, and poverty. His message resonated during a period of significant civil unrest in the United States, drawing hundreds into his fold, seduced by the promise of a better life and a leader who understood their struggles. The People's Temple was more than a mere religious congregation. It was a community that engaged in social service. Members worked in soup kitchens, helped the homeless, and assisted the elderly. This humanitarian facade played a significant role in bolstering Jones's image as a benevolent leader. Yet, beneath this altruistic surface lurked a different reality, marked by psychological control and abuse. Members were often subjected to humiliating public confessions and were punished for perceived disloyalty, which served to break spirits and tighten Jones's control. As the scrutiny over his activities in the US increased in the early 1970s, Jones and hundreds of his followers relocated to Guyana, South America, where they established Jonestown. Promoted as a paradise free from the oppression of the US government, it was, in reality, a tightly controlled, oppressive environment. Followers were subjected to harsh labor, limited food, and continual indoctrination. Jones's grip tightened with armed guards, and followers were punished for dissent. Surveillance was constant, privacy non-existent, and the sense of communal love that once drew members to the temple had twisted into a suffocating trap. The turning point came on November 18, 1978, following a visit by US Congressman Leo Ryan. Ryan had come to Jonestown to investigate allegations of human rights abuses after relatives of some members lobbied US authorities. After a member attempted to attack Ryan, it became clear that not all was well in Jonestown. On the day of Ryan's departure, as he took some defectors with him, gunmen from Jonestown ambushed his party, killing him and 4 others. Back in Jonestown, Jones, sensing the impending collapse of his creation, called for a final white night. In a frenzy of apocalyptic fervor, he ordered his congregation to drink a concoction laced with cyanide as an act of revolutionary suicide. Tragically, most complied, including many children, coerced or forced by adults. The aftermath was horrifying. A sea of bodies lay scattered across the compound, a grim testament to the tragic power of delusion and control. The aftermath of the massacre shocked the world, raising questions about cult dynamics and the psychological mechanisms that can drive collective tragedy. The event has since served as a grim reminder of the need for vigilance against manipulation by charismatic leaders. The stories of those who survived are poignant, marked by a mix of relief and unbearable loss. Many survivors struggle with guilt, trauma, and the painful stigma associated with their association with Jonestown. The tragedy of Jonestown is not merely about the loss of lives, but also about the shattered lives of the survivors who continue to grapple with their past. In dissecting this chilling tale, the Jonestown Massacre serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unyielding obedience to authority and the importance of safeguarding individual autonomy against collective manipulation. It is a reminder of the dark potential of power when wielded unchecked, and of the profound cost of blind allegiance This tragedy underscores the importance of critical thinking and the courage to question authority, a lesson as relevant today as it was in 1978. In the quiet fabric of Circleville, Ohio, an ominous chill settled in the late 1970s that would ripple through its community for over a decade. The disturbance began subtly, with a single, mysterious letter delivered to the home of Mary Gillespie. The letter, marked by stark, unadorned handwriting, accused Mary, a respected school bus driver, of concealing an illicit affair with the local school superintendent. Mary, shaken but skeptical, dismissed the letter as a vile prank. However, the accusations didn't stop. They multiplied, weaving a dark tapestry of secrets and lies. As the letters proliferated, they reached more townsfolk, each revealing intimate secrets only a close observer could know. Panic seeped into the roots of Circleville. Trust eroded, friendships withered, and suspicion cast long shadows at every gathering. The mysterious author seemed omnipresent, a ghostly voyeur intertwined with their daily lives. Tragedy struck when Ron Gillespie, Mary's husband, received his own menacing letter, urging him to act against the alleged affair or face dire consequences. One stormy night, fueled by frustration and the sting of betrayal, real or imagined, Ron drove off in a fury, only to meet his fate in a mysterious car crash. The wreckage brought more questions than closure, and with Ron's death, the letters grew more audacious, flaunting their influence over the town's psyche. The situation spiraled when an accusation of misconduct on Mary's bus route led to her brief detainment. The letter claimed she endangered her students, a charge taken seriously enough to warrant investigation, but ultimately dismissed for lack of evidence. Yet, the damage lingered, tarnishing Mary's reputation and fracturing her sense of security. The climax of these harrowing events occurred when a booby-trapped sign, rigged with a firearm, was discovered along Mary's bus route. Designed to trigger upon her usual inspection, it failed to fire, and soon after, police apprehended her brother-in-law, Paul Freshour, attempting to repair the trap. Despite his fervent denials, circumstantial evidence hastily cemented his guilt in the public eye, and Paul was incarcerated. However, the letters did not cease with Paul's imprisonment. They continued, even mocking the authorities' efforts to silence them. This chilling revelation forced the community to confront the unsettling possibility that they had incarcerated an innocent man, and the real perpetrator was still among them, perhaps watching, always watching. Years passed, the frequency of the letters dwindled, but the scars they left on Circleville were indelible. The case grew cold, leaving a legacy of paranoia and broken trust that the town could never fully recover from. Decades later, Mary, aged and alone, sat by her window on a crisp autumn evening, the rustling leaves a whispering chorus in the twilight. The world had moved on to other stories, other scandals. Yet, for her, the memories lingered, as vivid and haunting as ever. The fear had subtly faded into a dull ache, but the mystery of the letter writer's identity remained, a ghostly puzzle echoing through the decades. The Circleville letter writer had not merely sent letters, they had crafted a narrative of terror that ensnared an entire town in its chilling grasp. And in the quiet aftermath, the lingering question that haunted Mary until her last days was not just who, but why. Why shatter the peace of this small town? Perhaps some secrets, like the leaves swirling in the wind, are never meant to be caught. If you found these stories chilling, I'd really appreciate it if you could like, share, and subscribe for more dark tales and hidden truths.